Lesson 6.4 is finding the volume of a sphere. The Earth is not a perfect sphere, but it has been molded by gravitational forces into a sort of a spherical shape. Earth has a diameter of about 7,926 miles and a surface area of about 197 million square miles. So the surface area, if you think about it, that means if I have a square that was a mile on each side of the square, it would take 197 of those squares to cover up the surface of the Earth. So it's pretty big entity right there. So I want you to go ahead and let's look at our fill-ins. We have a sphere. A sphere is a set of points in 3 dimensions that are a fixed distance from a given point, which is the center. So the center of the sphere, and then you've got points that are the same fixed distance away, and then it makes the sphere. A plane that intersects a sphere through its center divides the sphere into 2 halves or hemispheres. The edge of a hemisphere is what do you think? It's called a great circle. It's the great circle. So this plane cuts the sphere into 2 halves, so it splits it right in the center. And this piece right here of the hemisphere, the edge of the hemisphere, is called the great circle. Because if you notice on a sphere, you can get a cross section of a sphere and have different size circles through the cross section. But if you take the cross section right through the center, that's the largest circle that you're going to have. So a sphere does have a radius. It goes from the center, and it's of the great circle. And then here's just a picture of it. I think this is a very cool picture over here. We have a cylinder, and inside the cylinder we have a hemisphere, and inside the hemisphere we have a cone. So it says the volume of a hemisphere is exactly halfway between the volume of a cone and the volume of a cylinder, as long as they have the same radius and then they're the equal height. So I think that's kind of a cool diagram right there. Okay, here is the formula for the volume of a sphere. It's 4/3 pi times the cube of the radius. So here they're showing us that the radius is 3, so the volume is 4/3 pi times 3 cubed. What they're doing here is they're taking 3 and cubing it, which gives us 27, times the 4, and then they still have pi and it's over 3. 108 divided by 3 is 36, so it's 36 pi, and then they go ahead and use the calculations. So here is one version of the formula that I want you to write down. 4/3 pi r cubed. I think the easiest form of that is 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. Because when you do find 4/3, you're multiplying by 4 and dividing by 3. So I'm going to have us write it like this. Okay, so it says here we want to find the volume of each sphere both in terms of pi and to the nearest tenth. So here is what they did in terms of pi. Here's what they did in terms of rounding it to the nearest tenth. So my volume is 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. So here I have 4 times pi times 9 cubed, that's the radius, divided by 3. So my volume here, for now I'm just going to treat pi as a variable. So I've got 9 cubed is 729 times 4. My numerator is 2,916 pi divided by 3. Oops, 3. So if I take 2916 divided by 3, this gives me 972 pi. Come on, pi. So here's my one answer. And now I'm going to go ahead and take 972 times 3.14, and this gives me 3,052 and 1/10 if I round it to the nearest tenth. And this is in feet cubed. Alright, let's try this one over here. So again, volume is 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. So 4 pi. I need to find my radius. Remember again, radius is diameter divided by 2. So 30 over 2 is 15. So 15 cubed over 3. So 15 to the third power is 3,375 times 4. I end up in my numerator 13,500 pi over 3. So if I divide that by 3, I get 4,500 pi. Come on. And then now I'll go ahead and calculate that. 4,500 times 3.14. I get 14,130, so it's exactly that, and this is in centimeters cubed. Alright, find the surface area of each sphere, both in terms of pi and to the nearest tenth. Surface area is a different formula. Surface area, hold on, oops, I was getting ready to write down a V. But I want the surface area. And the surface area for a sphere is 4 pi r squared. 4 pi r squared. So here's another formula for you. So my surface area is 4 pi, and then my radius is 6 2/10 squared. So my surface area, 6.2 squared, is 38 44/100 times 4 is 153 76/100. So there's in terms of pi. So then if I use 3.14 for pi, I get 482 8/10 feet squared. So if I had a square foot, it would take almost 483 to cover up the surface of this. So find the surface area of each, I don't understand what it says of each sphere. Oh, I guess it's just this. There we go, because there were different problems. Okay, finally, problem 13. Compare the volume and surface area of a sphere with diameter 3 meters with that of a cylinder with a height of 1.5 meters and a base with radius 1 foot.